Valley Light.
You hear people make expressions like, you asked me about this yesterday and I told you that I am not in the mood. You asked me about this yesterday and I told you that I am not in the mood. And there is a problem with that, am I right? If you take a look at the expression that you have on the board, you asked me about this yesterday and I told you that I am not in the mood. You will immediately get to notice that there is a problem with this, am I right? The problem is that you asked me about this is in the past tense form, about this yesterday, and I told you, this is also in the past tense form. Why then should you have something like this? Why should you have am? You asked me about this yesterday, and I told you that I was not in the mood. Now, this is one of the big problems that people have when they make use of the English language. That is the use of tenses. Tenses in English language tell us about the times of actions in sentences, in expressions. I said, tenses in English language tell us about the times of actions in expressions. That is to say, when a person speaks, when a person makes a statement that has an action in it, it is the part that makes you to understand if that action, if what the person is talking about is something that happened in the past. Is it something that is happening now? Is it something that happens around this time? Is it something that will happen in future? This is what you mean when you talk about tenses. You have to note that this is different when you say that tenses point at the times of actions in sentences. It is different from that definition that you hear about adverbs, where you are told that there is something known as adverb of time that tells us about the time of an action. The difference is that the adverb of time is usually more specific. It is usually more direct when telling you about the time. Now, for the adverb, you are told that this person came here yesterday. That yesterday is the adverb telling you about the exact time that the speaker wants you to focus on. This is the time at which the person came. This thing happened last year. That last year works as an adverb telling you the exact time that the speaker wants you to focus on. That is about the adverb. But then, tense in English language is usually larger than what you have under adverbs. Tense simply wants you to know if the action you're talking about happened in the past, if it is happening now, or if it will happen in future. That is why we have three major tenses. And the three major tenses that we have are what you have on the board: the present tense, the past tense, and the future tense. These are the three major tenses that we have. The present tense tells us about an action that happens or that is happening within the time of speech. You have to focus on the time of speech. This action is either happening as the speaker is speaking or that it happens within the time of that speech. Under this present tense, we have the simple present tense, the present continuous tense, the present perfect tense, and the present perfect continuous tense. These are the four sub-tenses that we have under the first one, which is the present tense. We then have the past tense. The past tense tells us about an action that happened in the past. That is to say that the action happened before the time of speech. Remember I told you that you should focus on the time of speech. Whenever you talk about the past tense talks about an action that happened before that time. The action happened in the past. And then under the past tense, we also have the simple past tense, the past continuous tense, the past perfect tense, and then the past perfect continuous tense. We also have four sub-tenses under the past tense. We then have the future tense. The future tense. The future tense tells us about actions that have not happened, or rather, it tells us about an action that has not happened, an action that will still happen in future. It has not happened as at the time of speech. It is going to come sometime after that time of speech. This action has not happened. It is still going to happen. Its time is coming. And also, under the future tense, we have the simple future tense, the future perfect tense, the future continuous tense, and then the future perfect continuous tense. And then, like I said, for us to understand this better, we are going to be taking this one after the other. Now, we have just listed the three major tenses that we have, each of them having four sub-tenses. That is to say that we have 12 tenses to talk about. We are going to be taking them one after the other, one for each video.
This his valley light.